What would happen if you could stop worrying so much about what your team was doing all day and instead focus in on what you're supposed to be doing to move your business forward? Sounds like a dream, but right now you're living the nightmare of having to overcoach, over-handhold, and over-check in on your team's work. Let's put an end to that and instead roll out super clear 5-hour work plans, drum beats, and more of my signature tools that drive accountability and self-sufficiency deep into your team. All you have to do is join a Leadership Lab program, and I'll help you turn your team troubles into triumphs. You'll be learning and growing alongside some peers that will become valuable business friends. So why not go beyond this podcast and join us? It could be the smartest thing you do this year. Book a call with me and see what program would best fit you over at the website, stackingyourteam.com/programs. Hello, leader. Are you considering promoting someone into a leadership role? Are you concerned that the rest of the team might not like them and therefore won't want to take direction from them? You know, it's a common worry in small business because the teams are typically smaller and you don't have acres of workplace space for leaders to hide in. No, in the world of small business, leaders are front and center. And yet the need for them to be competent in their roles is just as important as in any massive corporate organization. So today, let's talk about whether being liked matters when you're in a leadership role. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast. I'm your host, Shelli Warren. I've worked with so many business owners over the years, and they all have the same secret to spill when we first meet. They have team troubles. Yes, it's a secret they've been keeping for a long while because most of their peers and family don't believe them. You see, from the outside, everything looks fabulous. They've built a wonderful reputation, a strong following of delighted clients and customers. They've created a brand that resonates with people, and the proof is in their revenues. But the truth is, they're struggling to lead people. And they've pretty much been around the block and back with team turnover. They admit that they're proud of the small business they've built, and yet at the same time, they're so tired of trying to grow without an agile team who are happy to work alongside them. They know that they need a team, but not just any team. And just like you, they're ready to learn how to lead in such a way that fits their perspective as a woman who owns a business, runs a second shift on the home front, and wants to create a legacy for their family and community for years to come. So let's hold hands and jump in together with today's episode. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today, I have a quick episode for you to help shed some light on the question that comes up a lot inside the Leadership Lab. How important is likability for your new team leader? But before we get into that, I have a heads up for you. For those of you who live near me, I'm heading back to my mansion to host a one-day mastermind, and I can't wait. November 22nd is the day, and it's going to be a memorable one. I used to host so many events at that lovely property, so it's going to feel like coming home again, being there and welcoming women who lead to come on in. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, that sounds amazing, but that day is booked already. Like, I've got some clients that day, or I've got a personal appointment that day. Okay, I hear you. But how many times are you going to wish you could attend a full day of in-person coaching with me and some other incredible women who are also building fabulous businesses, but you're putting other people first so you don't attend? And then you are resentful about it all day because you'd rather be with me at the mansion. So clear your calendar, get in the car, and come and join me. You won't regret it. You can get all the details in the episode description or just pop over to the website at stackingyourteam.com/masterminds. All right, let's get into today's episode by starting with this familiar fact that'll have you noodle on for a minute. the team that got you here may not be the team that will get you there. Okay, let's talk about likability and leadership. So you've got someone you're thinking about promoting, but you're wondering if people like them or not. First of all, I understand why this is a concern for you. Here are a few scenarios where it can feel super important to have your leadership team members be well liked in your small business. First one is that, if you're wanting to step out of your daily operations and focus more on business development, which, by the way, that's what most of the people who join the Leadership Lab are wanting my help with. Well, you need leaders who can run the daily activities working alongside your extended team cohesively. So sure, you want your team to like those individuals that you have put into a leadership role. Secondly, if you want to expand and open up another location, having a leader at the helm of that location so that people from your original location can move over, it would help to attract people to shift over there, or even put in some extra hours over there, would be great. Or if you're wanting to sell the business in the near future, you know that team structure is valuable. And a buyer would want to come in and have a fully fledged leadership team set up already. And this would be especially enticing for that buyer to know that your leadership team has been building relationships with your extended team and clients for a long while and doing it really well. So let's cut to the chase. We've all worked for someone who we didn't like. And if you're like most people who decided to become an entrepreneur, you declared that you wouldn't be that kind of leader that people disliked or even despised, depending on your employment history. So now you have your own business and you've got your own team. So you're intent on creating a leadership team that collaborates well with others. You don't want leaders who work well with you, but then act poorly with the people that they're responsible to. You've come a long way building your team, and you know you need a team, but not just any team, and it all feels super personal. So you're taking personal responsibility for who you hire, who you terminate, and who you promote into a leadership role. So let's hit the brakes for a minute. Listen up. Being an effective leader means that there will be times where you have to say no to someone. And guess what? When that happens, they might not like you for a moment. Because leaders make decisions, they introduce change, and they stretch people. Leaders disrupt their industry and take a stand on specific issues, both inside their industry, their niche, and their local communities. So leaders take action, and sometimes that action is not embraced by everyone. And that's perfectly okay. In your workplace, whether it's a brick and mortar or an online business, you need people to step into leadership roles because you've finally realized that you simply can't do it all yourself anymore. So it's imperative that you nurture people and then select some of them to step up into a leadership role. You're looking for people who are developing into people who are seen as approachable, friendly, and competent. But what about this? Have you ever worked for someone who thought that they needed to be everyone's friend? Well, we probably all have, and you might think that too, or maybe you used to. In my experience, I've seen that when leaders think they have to be friends with everyone, that's when they run into trouble. You know what happens? You may have had your own experiences trying to be everyone's friend when what you should have been focusing on was being their friendly leader. And by friendly, I mean approachable, cordial, and engaging, as opposed to being absent, aloof, rude, aggressive, or disrespectful. Now, learning how to lead is a big deal, and it takes practice. Each new situation that comes up across the team and the business, for that matter, is another chance to learn something. And most often, we're learning something new about ourselves too. It happens. I mean, come on. That's the heavy lifting of leadership. That's the work. You didn't get to where you are in a hop, skip, and a jump. You had hurdles to overcome, windy roads to follow, and probably a few side steps that took a bit of work to get you back on the path forward. But you keep moving. You're moving forward through it all, despite the uncomfortability of growing. And new leaders find this difficult. Inside the Team Leader Program, I have a training that's mandatory for them to complete when they join. It's called You're in a Leadership Role. Now what? That training is designed to teach them how to be a highly valued team member who leads processes, profit centers, and of course, people. I remember what it was like to be a peer one day and then a leader of my peers the next. It's a journey. There's always going to be gaps, but also gains. And as a leader, we've got to help that learning curve shorten and their confidence and capabilities grow. So having those frank conversations about what it actually means to be a leader helps provide clarity that they need in order to shift their focus, change their outlook, and start developing habits that will improve their capabilities and make an impact on the team. And then, of course, your bottom line. So as you're trying to decide if someone's ready to take on additional responsibilities that includes the people side of the business, I want to remind you to grab the free resource on the website called How to Spot Your Leaders. This assessment will take you 10 minutes or less, and it will provide you an incredible amount of confidence that you will be choosing a great person to take on that leadership role. I did an episode on the assessment too, so zip back into your podcast feed, or you can even pop over to the YouTube channel. It's number 276. And to download your free assessment, you can go to stackingyourteam.com/resources. Now, you'll see on the Spot Your Leader assessment that there's a question that you'll answer about your potential candidate, that you'll gauge their potential to be a new leader in your business. It asks you, are they trusted and respected by their peers? Boom. Being trusted and respected is very different from being liked. Can you feel the difference? Would you want to have a leadership team full of people who are liked but not respected? Liked but not trusted? No, I think not. As the CEO of your business, your goal is to be trusted and respected by everyone on your team. You know the impact of those core values, not only for your team, but for your clients and your customers too. It is okay that there will be times when someone might not like you. It's a fact. It's going to happen, especially as they come to assess the outcome of a decision that you've made and that also impacts them in such a way that they're just not happy about. Or as they come to realize that the feedback that you just shared with them, even though it was well-intended, well thought out, and it was meant to help them overcome the challenge and move forward in a better place, well, they might not like it at first. And as adults in the workplace, being disliked is desirable, but it should never be the sole driver for the actions we take as leaders, as adults, out there in the world of work. Because we've all seen it and felt it when favoritism is the driving force behind the decisions that leaders make. We've seen it and felt the damage that cliques can create and the mistreatment and the isolation that are outcomes for preferential treatment for a specific person or a group of people. And in recent years, we've all learned that in the workplace, diversity is a requirement, but inclusion is a choice. And being a leader who's developing into a person who can demonstrate empathy for others while supporting their team to become more agile and capable through making those big decisions at work is really the work of a leader. The work of a leader. They get paid to do these things, and it takes courage and great communication skills. So let's stop worrying so much about whether your newest team member is well liked and lean more into helping them be trusted and respected by teaching them how to interact and support the people that they're responsible to. Let's also help them better be prepared for the heavy lifting of making decisions based on the compelling needs of the business, and then do it in such a way that acknowledges how and in what way those decisions are going to impact the team. And let's also role model and coach our leadership team members to learn some coping skills for the moments when they'll want to take the easy way out and just say yes to everything and everyone in order to make everyone happy. And then they have to deal with the impact that that's going to have long term. Now, it's not like every decision that leaders make are going to disrupt the harmony of your team. No, often when we take the time to gain insight from the people who do the work because they know the most about the work, it can greatly improve the accountability and the acceptance of a new strategy or a new policy or a new goal. And it's always easier to rally the team around to help make the big decision when the leader is trusted and respected. And it's those traits, trust and respect, that over time and through consistency lead people to view their leaders as people they actually like. So as we close out today's episode, here's a few steps to take action on what you just learned here today in the podcast. Number 1, get on over to that website and grab your Spot the Leader assessment. And while you're there, check out the other resources we have for you designed to help accelerate your leadership capabilities. I've also included the accompanying episode for that Spot the Leader assessment in today's episode description for you. Number 2, think about how often while you were listening to this episode that it kicked up some memories for you, or even some current thoughts and beliefs that you have about how much emphasis you're putting on yourself and your leadership team to be well liked. And then number 3, consider sharing this episode with your leadership team and then having a discussion about it at a team meeting. Support them by listening to their reaction to it and how they're sharing their own experiences, trying to grow their level of trust and respectability the team has for them and that they have for the team. You know, leadership can be exciting, challenging, and lonely at times. So don't go it alone. Let me help you create the team and the leadership structure that you've been craving. So until next time, remember, if you have a dream, you need a team. So let's get stacking yours today.